Hey everyone, this is Scott from Forgot to Girl. Welcome to our Westworld Season 3 Episode 2 Thoughts video. I just finished watching the latest episode of Westworld on HBO, and I'm just going to share my general thoughts on the episode. In this episode, we catch up with Maeve and check out and follow her in her a little bit of an adventure in Westworld, as it is called. And we also catch up with, or see Bernard making his way back to Westworld and catching up with Ashley. And so I found this episode really fun. I wasn't sure where we were going to go with this episode, especially with us going back into Westworld and Maeve and her seeming to be back kind of where she started, just in a different park. And so at first I was kind of like curious to see where this was going to go. Like, she's just going to have to escape again? How did she end up here? And so it was interesting to kind of like dive into this kind of mystery with her right away. I love that she has, her consciousness still, and still has like, but doesn't quite have her abilities at first, and we slowly learn to as to why. But yeah, I really enjoyed this because we got to catch up with Maeve, and got to see what we got to see kind of how she responds to this. Spoiler for the episode, this simulation that she ends up actually being in, which I kind of didn't even see coming out. When I saw the Westworld, the Nazi Germany stuff, I was just like, oh yeah, she's back at Westworld. She's just in another park, and that's not to say that that's not a park at Westworld. But in this episode, she's actually in a simulation because somebody's gone and snatched up her her brain. I can't remember the name of the thing. I wanted to call it a stack. That's altered carbon. But yeah, so somebody has possession of her little orb thing that's got her consciousness on it. So they've got her mind stuck in a VR thing, which is where we see this Westworld thing. And so I enjoyed the kind of like discovering this slowly through the eyes of Maeve, and then her kind of figuring out her way through it as she tends to do. And so I really enjoyed just this episode for that. I liked how they brought back Ali to assist her in a sense, and that he didn't know at first that he was just a part of the simulation. But I really love when Maeve kind of interacts with other artificial life forms, or artificial life forms that don't know that they're artificial yet, and just how blunt she can be with them, just like, because she knows where they're coming from, but she also knows kind of the best kind of way to cut through to them, so that they can maybe have their own awakening, as she had, as her and Dolores and all the others in the show have. So yeah, so this one was really fun, kind of seeing it. When I did find out about the simulation, it did make me a little bit like, oh, that means we're probably not getting much more of the Westworld thing, which is fair. This is Westworld, so we don't need to be diving too much into all these different worlds, but it would have been maybe a little more fun for maybe it to have played more of a role, as opposed to it just have been, I don't want to say like a setting, but just kind of the new place to stick her for now. So I'm hoping it kind of plays a little bit more of a, like, she has to, like, I like the way that she was able to manipulate it and use the story to the simulation to her advantage. But I'm kind of, it just would have been cool to kind of potentially explore Westworld just a little bit more, but that's kind of a little side thing. But anyway, so that was it was just fun to kind of explore this simulation with Maeve, and then in the end she almost escapes with a robot, but not quite, and we find out, well, she meets the guy who, I guess, it took her little brain thing. I'm forgetting the name of it now. And so she meets this guy, and we don't really learn much more about it besides the fact that he's one of the ones that helped build this the system thing that gives everybody their jobs that we learned about in the last episode. So that's pretty much all about the Maeve stuff. I really enjoyed kind of catching up to her, and I'm curious to see where this goes from her, because obviously this episode ends with the guy Surik giving her this like kind of mission, or kind of proposing, like, I want you to go kill Dolores, or find and kill Dolores. And it's just like, oh, I remember seeing that in the trailer, so it'll be curious to see where we go with what Maeve's kind of take on it, why she seemingly is going to agree with this guy to go hunt down Dolores. But yeah, so that was an interesting part. And then the other storyline we followed in this episode was Bernard making his way back to Westworld, where he finds Ashley, who had tried to kill himself but missed his C6, which I guess is the vertebrae where they have some kind of explosive in order to stop the host if season one happened again, but it didn't work in season one. So yeah, it was nice to see that they brought his character back, and kind of now he's just acting as Bernard's bodyguard, which I like. I like how, even though last episode we saw that Bernard doesn't necessarily need a bodyguard, he can handle himself. But I liked being able to see Ashley, actually seeing him be a little bit more actiony, because he is the head of security. In the last two seasons he's mostly just been kind of like sidelined, and so I like this, that in this one he, Bernard kind of put him to use to actually defending him a little bit and getting to see, I always like to see a little Hemsworth action. So he's another one of the Hemsworths. Look at so yeah, that was an interesting kind of storyline, and we find that the reason Bernard went back to Westworld was he's actually looking for Maeve, and we also kind of find out that Maeve's not actually, like, we learned kind of simultaneously when we learn that Maeve's in the simulation, that Bernard discovers that her brain orb thingy was taken out of her host body, and so she's not at Westworld anymore. So now he's got to leave, and he's bringing Ashley with him. So yeah, that stuff with Bernard and Ashley was pretty short-lived. It was interesting kind of seeing Ashley's perspective of being like, yeah, no, I was programming with all the pondering, questioning my reality things. I was programmed to be a bodyguard, and when all you hosts left, I didn't need to do anything anymore. So I kind of liked seeing this kind of different mindset for one of the hosts who is both conscious of the fact that he's conscious, but also not having that desire to continue to live, which is I'm pretty sure it's a prerequisite to be considered a life form, is you have to want to continue to live. But anyways, that's a little bit of programming stuff, and Bernard changes that at the end of the episode anyways. So, and they're off together on a merry adventure. So overall, this episode just was a great kind of way of getting us kind of caught up on these two and seeing where they're these two being Maeve and Bernard's storylines for this season, kind of just getting them set up, since we spent almost all last episode with Dolores and Cal last episode, which we didn't get any of them in either of them, I should say, in this episode at all. So this one was all focused on Bernard and Maeve and kind of setting up what they'll be doing this season, and which I enjoyed, and just got me curious for next week's episode to see where we go from here and how we're gonna tie all these three in. How is Bernard gonna stop Dolores? How is Maeve potentially going to stop Dolores? How is Dolores going to stop the other two from stopping her? And is she going to take over humanity, or does she want to destroy us? Does she want to be our leader, or does she just want to wipe us out? Does she want to be our destroyer? I'm very curious to find out, and I'm excited to check out more this season to find out. But that's all my thoughts on this latest episode of Westworld. Be sure to let me know in the comments below what you thought about this latest episode. Thanks again for joining me today. Sure, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and have a good one.